Hello everyone, I just wanted to take the opportunity since the time allowed me to make a live recording of some lifetime data to show you what it will look like once it becomes live and you start seeing actual numbers. So I went ahead, I opened up two windows, I logged in accordingly, both bring up the dashboard. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit map. Anytime you log into the system and you're looking at the map and you see black dots, that means that it is not affiliated or associated to any work area or anchor area or anything really. It's all of the unassigned, as you can see, for the planned routes. So in order to change this into the designated anchor areas that you've set, you hit the clipboard and it'll say create routes. Are you sure you want to create routes using an active route plan? Go ahead and hit confirm. So while this is calculating, it takes roughly about maybe 30 seconds, 45 up to a minute, depending on how complex your routes are or how many trucks you have. Anytime you make any change to your route plan, assign different anchor areas, assign different stop overrides, anything that you do under your manage tab. Primarily tonight we'll be working under route plans, and tomorrow is the Thursday plan, so I'll just go ahead and open this up because I will jump between this map and here. Anything I do in this map, you want to hit the clipboard after every move, because it'll tell you if you grab the right work area or the right anchor area, the wrong anchor area, and once we go into the report, you'll see if it's balanced or if it's unbalanced. So we'll let this finish up what it's doing and we'll move on to the next step. And as long as that little pinwheel is spinning, it is working. Some nights it does take longer than others. You just kind of have to bear through it. If anyone's ever dealt with RouteSmart, it's the same issue. So here we go. Now, for the most part, I'd like to say about 98% is assigned properly. So you'll notice all of the different colors. All the different colors are affiliated to the name of the territory. So with the name of the territory, that's when you look over here. And like I said in the first video, this section is what's going to be important, because Gamble 21, I know is going to be work area 328, which truck it is, and which driver it is. So then you can see my active anchor areas for today, and you can also see where it is on the map. So if I wanted to only look at Gamble 5, I would go over here, turn off all routes, and just look at Gamble 5. So I click that, give it a second. This is a supplemental territory that I put on Thursdays to give a little bit of relief. This is actually a bulk stop. And then it comes up and it does its actual territory. So from the map perspective, everything looks pretty copacetic with how I have it planned out. You can go ahead and turn it all back on. My colors look to be pretty much in order with how the routes end up turning out to be on Thursdays and Fridays. So if I wanted to go see what these routes are going to do, I jump over to the report tab. When I get into the report tab, I can see the final stops for these routes. So if I go over here, for example, Gamel 27, who's going to be on it? Scroll through my list. Now I know who's doing what section in that area, which driver's in there, which work area it is going to do. And I can be like, okay, work area 318 has roughly 130 going out tomorrow. Who's its counterpart? So I automatically know just from my operation, 318's counterpart is going to be, let me find it, 326. Jump over here. 326 is Gamel 24. Gamel 24 is at 147. That's relatively close. So then I look at its northern counterpart. The northern counterpart is going to be 328, which is Gamel 21. Go over here, Gamel 21, 139. So the way I'm going to balance this out, I know you guys all have your own way of knowing your driver's strengths, which territories your drivers do better in. So I won't go into how I balance my routes out. However, this is just how I see which area is doing what and what their counterpart is sitting at. That way I know if there is an imbalance, how am I going to balance this out? So if I look, for example, Gamel 5 is a supplemental route. I'm going to leave that one alone because that's actually RAO. So RAO goes out as a supplemental. I'm not going to add anything more on. So if I look into some of my lighter routes, let me see, 310, 22, going to 22, 131. His counterpart is 322, Gamel 26. So I go over here, 122. These guys are pretty well balanced. Honestly, at this point, this plan, I won't do much on. When you're looking at the solution, this is called a solution. So any training that you go into, how I got my solution is assigning the proper anchor areas to the proper route to create this map. So anytime you're walking through your trainings, or they're doing step-by-step instructions and they always say solution, this is the solution. So you're always going to have an informed optimal. This is how RouteSmart thinks that you should run your company, and the actual is how you chose to run the company. So as you can see, it's pretty much the same. There isn't much variant to this. You're talking about a minimum. You're talking about less than just over 8 mile difference, and a fraction of an hour. So this one is ran pretty well through the eyes of RouteSmart. But say I did want to go in and change a territory. Just because you make a move does not mean that it's permanent. It's only permanent up until your cutoff time. So, for example, my cutoff time to create this plan is 10:45. Anything I do before 10:45, if I walk away from my computer right now, this plan would go into effect. These unassigned would fall into the area that they're closest to. So, like, for example, these ones over on County Road E, I automatically know this is target. Since this is a stop override, these unassigned are going to fall into the blue squares. So if we look over at our index, the blue square is Gamel 27. So these are automatically going to be placed onto Gamel 27 unless I went in and I manually overrid them to go somewhere else. So if I walked away right now, this is exactly how things would run. and the override or the unassigned would just fall into the closest color that they are by. So since I have lifetime data, for example, this section right here, I don't know which anchor area it's assigned to. I don't know which route is necessarily doing it. I can reference it with the chart to find out who's doing it. Or this button right here, the weird little square thing. You click it, all of your anchor areas show up with the assignment in them. So if I wanted to go in and clean this up a little bit and just move this section, I can go, I click it, anchor area LC24. So I go over here to my list of anchor areas and I find LC24. Right up here. I lost track. Oh, that's not Brittany. So once I find which route it's in, I click the little pencil button, which is your edit. I go down the list. The way I have them labeled, my list is numerical, so I can automatically, it makes it a lot easier, and I can automatically just go to the 20s or the 30s or the 40s and pick which one I want. So I go ahead and I select LC24. I click this arrow to move it back into available. I click save. I click the counterpart territory, LC21. That area I automatically know is Kunze. So I go on to 326. Go ahead and click it. Click edit. My available anchor areas that I can move are in here. Go ahead and highlight it. Move the area, or click on the arrow to move it back to selected. Hit save. Now that section is moved. However, it didn't change on the map. So now what we'll do is go ahead, hit the clipboard. You're working with lifetime data. Okay. Let the solver run its little thing. And I don't know if you could see it on my screen or not, but anytime you choose an anchor area to move, it looks almost identical to when you move pickups in FCC. Once you highlight them and you click on them, it'll change color. It'll change to a darker gray. Then you know it's available. And instead of hitting transfer or hitting offer, you just hit that little arrow where it points back to the available box. And then once you hit save at the bottom of that anchor area is going to stay in that available box until you reassign it. If by chance you do not move it back to a route, or you leave a specific anchor area in there and you forget about it, it will plot it to the route that's closest to it. So once this solver finishes, I will show you what I mean here in a second. So we're going to keep our eye on this section right here, this little weird shaped box. Which did not change. This happens. So this is why the multi-screen comes into play. So we were working with LC24. This is LC24. But as you saw, once we hit the clipboard, it didn't change. Okay, there's a workaround around this. So now in the screen that we did the movement in, you're going to close out of this. It's going to bring you back to your route plan, so we are no longer in the edit route plan. You're going to go into the map on this tab or this window. Take a second to load. It should have live. Yep, it does have live data in it. We're going to scroll in. You will notice in the window that you did the movement in, it shows. So here we are. We're looking at the same plan. However, LC24 is still showing on a different work area than the work area we just assigned it to. If and when this happens, and it does happen consistently, you switch windows. So now this plan is how we wanted it to be. In the movement that we made, we look at the map, everything looks clean cut. Okay, we're done. If that was not the case, and we had more movement to make, we would now jump over to this window where the color is off and the map does not add up. This is where we will go back into manage, go into route plans. I'm working with my Thursday plan, go into edit. This now becomes my section to move segments from route to route. So it's a lot of jumping back and forth between window and window, because even though we did run the new plan and we did request the new information, the system does not run well on multi-window, even though it is the easiest way to work it on. So you will be jumping from window to window. So just to kind of prove a point, I'm going to go ahead and move that LC24 back because I don't want it in that territory tomorrow. So let me walk through this. I'm in my route plans. I know I'm working with my Thursday route. I open up my Thursday plan. I go to the driver that I just moved the area to. Look for the section that I just moved, just right here, LC24. I highlight it. It changed to a darker gray. I hit the area that points to the available box, click it, hit save. I go back to the area that I want it to go to. Go ahead and click it. So I click the little pencil, highlight it, point to the area back to selected, or point to the arrow that points at selected, hit save. Now I hit close. So I'm back in my route plan. Can go over here and we'll see if it'll do it again. So any movement, like I said, that you make under your route plan edits, you want to make sure that you hit the clipboard every time. If you do not hit the clipboard, your numbers will not reflect any movement that you made. Anything that you do, I can't stress it enough, hit the clipboard. And as the night progresses, you will notice that your solver will take a little bit more time. A lot of people start to jump onto the server bogs down. You do not want to hit refresh. You do not want to open up a tab or a new tab and sign into it again. Just let it run its thing. Sometimes it does take longer than others, but it is working. I have not had this timeout on me, and I've had my solver take up to 2 minutes before. We're only as fast as the server lets us be, and sometimes it does get bogged down. And even on this screen may take a while too, where it has that final little circle. So we go in back to our map. We're looking just at this area. Notice it didn't change, even though we did just move it back to the route that we took it from. So now we'll jump back over to the other window, hit map. The solution when you jump from window to window will be there because it's already ran. It's just trying to get the colors of the sections that you moved to show up. So if you notice, this is the most current plan. This is after our movement, and this is after we reassign the section. The colors add up, but just to confirm it, go ahead, click the little weird box thing, and you'll notice that the map did change again. This is the part that is the most confusing, and they will not teach in the classes. So I can't stress more to keep an eye on this. This is why the multi-window is very key in the success of this whole ordeal. Because as you can tell right here, it does not always reflect it. So any tab you did the movement in, the other window, hit the clipboard, run your number. Jump back to the tab or the window that you did your movement in, then hit the map. Then you're going to change this. Everything that you're going to do at night is under manage. So go right back into your route plan. Choose the day that you're working with or the plan that you're working with. And now we just switch the screens, but we're running live time accurate information. So that's all I got because I'm not doing any more movement. So my night is actually done. So I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day. Stay safe.